Hi guys, I'm Shmee, hello and welcome back to the channel where you join me today to visit an incredibly special motorsport collection featuring a lineup of some very bright orange racing cars, the spirit of the Jägermeister Racing Team here at 72StagPower. Now I've come out in the GT8 with some flashes of orange around the car, but wait until you see the display that awaits us here in the garage of 72StagPower. Feast your eyes on this. What an extraordinary view, stretching back through the history of the Jägermeister Racing Team from 1972 through to 2000. We've got the Porsches, the BMWs, the Formula 2s, the Formula 1s, and the most incredible history. Cars that were driven by amazing legends in the motorsport world. Plus the helmets, the workshop, the collection of matched model cars, the books, and plenty more to discover as we're going to take a look around. What an unbelievable display. Let's explore then here in the garage of 72StagPower. In a minute, we're going to be meeting with Oliver, whose father was responsible for the Jägermeister Racing Team back from the 1970s, and he will show us around in more detail of what we're looking at here, the 72StagPower garage, which is very much being run as a family project to reunite the cars back together. But we're looking at the likes of a 911 RSR, the 935 with its flat nose, the 956, an Astra DTM car, the March F2, March Formula 1, we've got the 914 Porsche behind, we've got the 320 Group 5, we've got the 3-litre CSL, the Batmobile, we've got the Brabham BT38 F1, we've got a 911 GT3, the 962, the Ford Capri. We're surrounded by engines and various parts and accessories, but just look at this display. We've got the lights up at the moment, but imagine how I arrived with it slightly dimmer, seeing all of the cars, the bright orange, that famous racing livery, the StagPower, of course, derived from the stag, the graphic that all of the cars wore. They were actually originally dark green before they became the bright orange, but this is a lot of history. The team has had some of the most famous drivers you can possibly imagine over the years, the likes of Niki Lauda, Graham Hill, Derek Bell, Stefan Bellof, you name it, they pretty much all have driven at some point in the Jägermeister racing colours. But let's be joined by Oliver then to take a better look through some of these cars.
Hi, it's a pleasure to have you here, and I would like to introduce you some of our cars.
Thank you very much. It's a truly spectacular garage. Where do we begin?
I would like to start with this 914-6. So it's a first car, and it shows a little bit more about the Jägermeister racing history than all the other cars. It was a 1971 Le Mans race car. It was a very successful race car, so my father decided to buy it end of the season 71 to drive it in 72. And then they start to paint it in dark green because the original Jägermeister color is dark green. And then after some decisions they made in the board, they switched to orange. And you see it here in the car. The car was originally painted in green, in dark green, Irish green from Porsche, and then they painted it in orange, in the sponsorship lacquer. And you see, the car is very original. It has no rust. We bought it from Florida back and recreated it during a period of 3 years. And now this is really a piece of motorsport history of Jägermeister.
Because this is where it was all born, 1972, the first season the racing team was in action.
It's an amazing car, to be honest. Same season, it was always a strategy of Jägermeister to have one star. Yeah, it was Niki Lauda, James Hunt, and it was Graham Hill, second times world champion, driving the Jägermeister Brabham BT38 in the season 72. And this is the works car, 2-liter Ford engine, 290 horsepower, 450 kilograms total weight. So it's a rocket for this period of time.
Yeah, those numbers. It doesn't take some complex mathematics to work out. That would be very fast.
Yeah, let's move to 74. 74, my father decided to switch to Carrera RSR. 1974 RSR, only 36 cars were built in the factory this period of time. Some were privately built, but this is a works car, 300 horsepower, 6-cylinder Porsche engine, air-cooled. It's really an original piece, and you see inside the original steering wheel, and everything is quite original.
Wow. And this car's been around the world as well.
Yes, it went from Germany when my father decided to go for BMW, which we show later. It went to Italy, from Italy to Hong Kong, from Hong Kong to San Francisco, and the US owner was always in contact with us. And when he bought the car in 84, I believe it was 84, he was directly in contact with my father and visited my father here in Germany, and my father gave him some documents and so on, and other things, photos. And we were in contact all the time, and he promised to my father, when I sell the car, you will get it. And he was reliable.
And now the car joins some of the others.
Yeah, this 1935 is not a turbocharged car. It's a 3.6 liter non-turbocharged car, so respirator. And it's the latest version of the RSR, which my father drove in 78. And this car is comparable with this car. Only 2 or 3 of them were built, and he drove it at hill climbs. It's a very light car, but with the standard RSR engine, not turbocharged.
Okay.
In 79, this is my favorite car.
Yeah.
BMW 320 Group 5, 710 kilograms, 330 horsepower, and it's an amazing sound machine, to be honest. And when you are in this, it's really, when you really drive it hard, it's a pain in the head.
Really?
It's so noisy. The exhaust is only one meter long, directly in this location.
Oh, okay. Right underneath you.
It's you can't believe it's so noisy.
But this is only 710 kilos.
Yeah.
It's very much shell
it's
engine.
like a bicycle. You drive like a bicycle. It's really in the rain, in the wet. It's amazing car.
Wow.
Yeah.
I also find it incredible, even just the cars we've gone through so far, the variety of different motorsport classes.
Yes.
From F1 and F2 to everything.
Everything. So from the beginning in F2, in 1977, you see this March 77. It's a car of Jochen Mass. Mm-hmm. It's one of 2 works cars. One was Marc Surer, one was Jochen Mass. This car won the Eiffel race in 1977. And this is Hans Stuck. Hans Stuck is our ambassador. Mm-hmm. He was here some days ago. He's 2 times a year he visited us. And this car is his Formula 1. It's a 1976 car, March Formula 1, Cosworth 3-liter engine, round about 500 horsepower, 500 kilograms. And imagine 2 tanks with 150 liters on both sides. Yeah, this is really a rocket.
Yeah.
Hans always says these were the times where sex was safe and racing was dangerous.
Okay. Then where do we head?
Yeah, we head to this BMW 3-liter. It raced in 1973 with Niki Lauda, James Hunt, Ronnie Patterson, Derek Bell. So it was in the European Championship, and in every different country there was a top drivers being used by Jägermeister in this car from Alpina. And Niki Lauda drove this car 2 years ago at Red Bull Ring, mm-hmm. and it was the last race car for him to drive.
The last race car he ever piloted.
Yes.
Wow. That's quite a special thing.
That's a Batmobile in orange.
Literally.
Yeah. And have we spoken about this is the last Jägermeister car.
The Opel Astra.
The Opel Astra V8, total carbon fiber setup. We bought it 2 years ago. It's not finished in restoration, but we will drive it first time next year. Engine was done, everything was done, gearbox was done. And this is the last car before Jägermeister started to have this self-restriction to say, okay, we don't make any advertisement anymore in sports and so on.
Yeah.
There was only one car which was used later in the States, but it was not a real official Jägermeister car. This is the last car and this is the first car.
That's amazing to have them together.
Here you see we have two Group C cars. One very early Group C Porsche, which is this 956. It's a car which was piloted by Stefan Bellof and Hans-Joachim Stuck in Imola. It's one of the cars who beats the works cars in this period of time, which was very difficult. And perhaps you take a look inside. It's really amazing, these cars.
Not so easy to get in there.
No, and out as well. It's
Goodness.
and when you drive it, it's so tight, yeah, and really only really professional drivers can this car really good.
I can believe that.
These ground effect cars are very difficult to drive.
Yeah, they need to be handled with care.
Yeah.
So in the 956
Yeah.
to the far end.
Perhaps we move these.
Well, if it only weighs 700 kilos, it's easy to
700 kilos.
Easy
Very
to-
to move.
shuffle it back.
This is, I told you, we had one more car in 2008, in the 2008 series here, this Porsche 997 GT3. You see the differences between the stacks, yeah? It was a different period, 1972 to 2000, this deer head, and in 2008 we had this deer head. Now they changed again. They have now dark green as main color, not orange anymore. And this is the last Group C car. It's a Porsche 962, close to 1,000 horsepower. It's a short version.
Wow.
And carbon fiber monocoque. That's the difference between the 956, which is a unique car because only 14 exist. And 962, we have a couple of more cars. Carbon fiber setup, Thompson chassis. It was a Brun Motorsport Porsche. They took all the parts from the works Porsches, but in the end they built their own monocoque using their own technology, and so this is the latest stage of Porsche Group C cars.
Wow, okay. It's amazing. It's the last car in the room is the Capri.
Yeah, this is very light too. It's only 800 kilograms.
Just give it a little push.
Walter Röhrl drove this car in the Deutschland Rally in 1972. It was dark blue. Olympia Rally, sorry, it was the Olympia Rally, not the Deutschland Rally. But he drove it, and it was his first really successful rally with a car which was not really successful in rallying. But in the end, my father bought it end of the season, and together with Jochen Klein, they created two of these Capri RS, and they drove the Rally Monte Carlo with this car.
You have a collection of engines as well.
Yeah, there's always the option that a car comes with two engines, or we find an engine. This is the V8 engine of the Opel Astra. Mm-hmm. That's one spare engine which came with the car, and this is a 1995 Alfa Romeo DTM engine, very sophisticated. The car is not here because we are in the restoration, and it comes back soon when we have when we did some adjustments, and then in our workshop we built the car to the final stage. But it's a rocket, really. It's Formula One technology in a saloon car, to be honest.
Yes.
Yeah, and when you see the car, you know that these seasons were very expensive for the teams because everything is Formula One technology.
Okay.
This is we spoke about the BMW 320 and the March Formula 2 from 1977. This is the engine which fits into these cars.
It's the same engine in both?
Yes. Most different stages. There are M12 stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. but in the end, it's only a difference of 10 horsepower. Yeah? It's between 300 and 312 horsepower. Some people speak about 330 horsepower, but it's in this range. And they always use this new designed BMW engine from, I would say, 1974 ongoing. But I'm not quite sure. Might be a little bit later. But in this 1977, it's the same like in this 1979.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is our lounge.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not even just the cars, it's the collection of everything that you have around.
Yeah. You see here some helmets of our drivers, an original Niki Lauda helmet, Stefan Bellof helmet, which was quite an amazing driver in the Group C cars. And this is a Graham Hill car, helmet, we spoke about his car. And here you see some model cars. Over 120 to 130 different cars were raced in orange livery. And here you see a collection of, I don't know, 40, 50. The main cars are here. Some, you see now that some of the cars are missing in our collection. For example, this 1970 Spider here, the big Elford car. It's unbelievable car.
I mean, I appreciate the amount of work even to make all of these and to have the collection of the models.
Yeah,
the scale models.
Some work.
Some amazing.
I started with 5.
Okay, yes, to go from 5 to the full collection.
And the project is not finished.
I was going to say, I'm spotting some others as well, like the M1 Pro car.
M1, looking for the original M1 car. That would be a pleasure, because the 6-in-1 sound of a M1 is still amazing.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
And you do some of the works here as well. You have the workshop.
Yeah, we have the workshop.
With some of the drivers.
One engineer is constantly working here. Now, because your visit was a little bit a surprise, we have some normal cars here inside. So my wife's car is here inside. But we are working, when we're not working on race cars, we are working on
beautiful
cars like this.
Ferrari Dino.
We are now currently working 3 years on this car.
3-year restoration?
3-year restoration, but it's a bare metal restoration. Everything was done. And all the details should be the same. It's a matching color, matching number car. And we know the history very clear. And now it's unfortunately so good that you can't drive it anymore.
It's perfect. Immaculate. Everything lines up completely perfectly. Let me help with this.
Yeah, we spoke about the Brabham BT38. 5 years ago, we bought a similar car like our car was in 72, but 8 months ago we found the original one. And
so this was the original one.
This is the original works car, the Brabham #1 BT38. The works car. Graham Hill was works driver during this period of time, and the BT38s were sold when Graham Hill signed the contract with Jägermeister, because it was very late in the season. It was March or April, so the season had started, and so they looked for a car for him, and there was only one option: the original works car, which all tests were done with.
Okay.
And this is the original car, and we are now working on the engine. You see here the different details showing that the car is the original car. It's now accepted as the ex-former works car, and we are very proud to have it here. And I think we need another 2 or 3 months, and then the car is running next year.
Amazing. Obviously missing some parts at the moment. But
yeah, and I'm very happy to have it, because you remember I showed you my childhood picture when I was in the car in 1972. It was really nice to have the car now.
And that's this car.
That's this car. And I was 6 years old sitting in this car, and now, I hope it drives like I expected.
Yes, well, I can't wait to see that back up and running. And I mean, I'm looking around as well at the drivers on the wall. It's a who's who of motorsport, really, that we're driving with the team. Over
100 drivers, and different drivers. When you see here now James Hunt, Niki Lauda, Hans-Jochen Stuck, Graham Hill, Derek Bell, the who is who of motorsport.
Literally.
And even there we see Wayne Gardner, 2 times 500 CCM world champion with motorcycles. He drove for us DTM with an M3. We have this car.
Yeah.
It's not finished, but it's close to be finished, and we drove it 3 weeks ago, and some work has to be done, but then it's perfect.
So how many cars are not here at the moment from the Jägermeister Racing collection?
4 cars are not here.
Okay.
And to be honest, 3 cars we are missing, because they have to be in the collection, but unfortunately we don't have it. And this is a 935 from 1977, so a Porsche, perhaps a K3 from Kramer.
Okay.
This would be perfect. And we need an M1.
Yeah.
Definitely. But then we have everything we need.
I mean, this is something you started working to put back together only a handful of years ago.
Yeah, it's 6 years. But we were always in contact with the owners, so it makes a little bit easy. Yeah, it's not the work investigating where the cars are, because all the owners, or most owners, were in contact with us, asking for stickers, asking for the right colors, asking for pictures, and so on. So we know where all the cars are. Yeah, and I know where a K3 is, but unfortunately it's too expensive at the moment.
Always the side effect. Well, it is absolutely incredible. Thank you so much for showing us around.
Yeah, it was a pleasure to have you here.
Really appreciate it. What a special place. There is not all that much more that I could add to that fantastic walk around with Oliver to discover the 72 StagPower garage, the cars that are here in the collection, but also maintained, used, taken to classic motorsport events. They're all running as well. Just an extraordinary collection that has been reassembled to re-establish the spirit of the Jägermeister Racing Team. So a huge thanks to Oliver and of course to his father Ecki for the opportunity to come to take a look around and to be able to share some of the 72 StagPower collection with you. If you'd like to find out more, there is a fantastic website detailing the cars and some of the others as well, and of course also over on social media. The links are down below if you'd like to give a follow to find out more about this amazing place. For today though, that is all. Thank you very much for watching. As always guys, I appreciate your support an awful lot. This has been amazing, but I'll see you again very soon. Cheers!